When most people think of the worst case scenario, they imagine disasters, wars, or the apocalypse. But honestly, one of the deepest realities of our modern world is human trafficking, where freedom is stolen, identity is stripped, and survival becomes a daily calculation. This isn't just something that happens overseas, it's something that happens in our neighborhoods, at truck stops, nightclubs, online, and even in plain sight. If you ever found yourself in the nightmare of being human trafficked, survival depends on your mindset, awareness, and seizing every opportunity possible. Today, I'm giving you several key survival tactics to hold on to your humanity and fight for your escape. Before we begin, I would just like to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Urban Warrior Podcast, your number one source for survival, self-defense, and supernatural preparation. I am your host, Shatter X Storm, and today we're going to be discussing how to survive getting human trafficked. I'm going to be giving you 7 tips to help you increase your chances of survival. So the first thing, number 1, is going to be control your mind before they control it. Your first battleground is mental. Traffickers break people down by instilling fear and helplessness. So refuse to surrender your inner fire. Even if you can't act right away, mentally commit to surviving long enough to escape. So a practical example is going to be, just like a prisoner of war, resisting psychological control, repeat affirmations or internal codes to keep yourself mentally strong. Like, I'm going to be able to get out of this. I'm going to be able to get out of this. And a situational example would be, if locked in a room, focus on routines, count your breath, repeat survival mantras, or visualize escape routes. Control your mind before panic controls you. So just think of it like the body follows the mind. Guard your thoughts like your life depends on it, because it actually might. Number 2, you're going to need to identify patterns and weak points. Traffickers are humans. They get tired, sloppy, and predictable. So watch their routines, when they check locks, when they sleep, what distractions make them lose focus. These patterns will reveal your window of opportunity. So an example would be, it's like watching patrols in an empty camp. Learn their rhythms until you find the gaps. And for a situational example, if moved between locations, make sure that you track landmarks, timing, and direction. Mental maps can lead rescuers back to you. So a quote for this would be something like, every cage has a weakness. Your job is to find it. Number 3, you're going to want to build silent alliances. Not every trafficker is loyal to the operation. Sometimes there are outsiders, like hotel staff, drivers, or other captives, who can be allies if approached carefully. Signals like eye contact, coded words, or subtle gestures can plant seeds of rescue. So, an old example would be, it's like a prisoner sending coded knocks through a wall. Small signals can open doors to freedom. So an example during a survival situation would be, if brought into a hospital, store, or public place, use discreet cues like writing help on a receipt or slipping a note into a pocket of someone who looks trustworthy. A survival quote I want you to remember for this would be, alone you endure, but with allies you escape. Number 4, keep your body in fighting condition. Even if starved or restrained, preserve your strength. Do isometric exercises, stretch, and eat whenever food is offered, if it's safe, that is. When escape time comes, you'll need every ounce of energy. So an ancient example would be, in captivity, warriors would train their bodies quietly. They would do things like push-ups and flexing. They would do breathing control exercises, preparing for the moment to strike. And here's a practical example. When confined, flex and tense muscles to keep circulation flowing. Hide your physical readiness so captors will underestimate you. The survival quote for this would be, your body is a weapon, sharpen it in silence. Number 5, create escape tools from nothing. Everyday objects can be turned into survival gear. Like hairpins can pick locks, broken plastic can cut bindings, and even saliva can weaken certain types of adhesives. Always scan for resources. So an ancient example would be, prisoners in war camps used to use spoons as shovels. So even the smallest tool can become freedom. And a practical example would be, if you're in the situation, spot loose screws, paper clips, or soda cans in your environment. Hide them until the time is right, and then you can use them to cut or dig. The survival quote I want you to remember is, tools are everywhere for those with the eyes to see them. Number 6, communicate without words. If you can't speak freely, use body language. A clenched fist in public, tapping fingers in patterns, or holding up a hand in the shape of a signal, like the universal palm-facing hand signal for help, could be the difference between rescue and silence. An ancient example would be, resistance fighters used to use hand signals under surveillance. One signal could move whole armies. And the situational example would be, if you're in the situational, you could use the traditional hand signal for help, which is your palms are facing out, your thumbs are tucked, and you fold your fingers. And you're going to want to do that if you're ever put on video, like if you're held hostage, if you're facing a window and somebody can see you through a window, or you're in public. So the quote I want you to remember is, even silence has a language. You need to learn to speak it. And finally, number 7, act decisively when the doors open. The hardest part of surviving is timing. Opportunities may be rare and dangerous, but hesitation is deadlier. When you see a crack in the system, move fast, commit fully, and don't look back. An ancient example would be, escaping a burning building requires sprinting through smoke. Hesitation will kill. A situational example would be, if a door is unlocked or a captive is distracted, bolt for light, noise, or crowds. Run towards survival, not away from fear. The survival quote I want you to remember, freedom is a moment seized, not a gift given. So my final thoughts on this is, being trafficked is a nightmare few want to imagine, but survival is possible. Remember, control your mind, watch for patterns, build hidden alliances, and be ready to strike when the moment comes. Your life and your freedom are worth the fight. The cage is not the end, it's the battlefield, but you were built to survive the battle. And if you or someone you know needs help, I'm going to be putting the number for the human trafficking hotline in the description section below. So that includes this episode of the Urban Warrior Podcast, How to Escape Human Trafficking. If you like this type of content and you want more, make sure to like, subscribe, share, turn on post notifications. And I started a Discord so we can talk about stuff that we are not allowed to talk about on platforms. So feel free to join my Discord in the description section below. And I am on Twitch and some other live streaming platforms. So feel free to join me live over there, where I will be gaming. And check out all my exclusive perks on Patreon if you feel like supporting my work. That would be greatly appreciated. And visit my merch shop. All of my links are going to be in the description. Until next time, this is ShatterX Storm signing out. Thanking you for tuning in. Peace.